Hey guys, it's RebeccaLynOberstadt. In today's video, this is the very first look that I filmed for the holiday season. This is a look that I was tagged in by my friend Diana. She tagged me in like 13 looks and then I found another one, so I might end up doing 14 depending on how I feel and how many I get done. I've got 2 done so far. I'm leaving the other look that I'm creating off of on the screen so you can see it at the whole time I'm doing this. This is all real time except for like later on when I do the white liner part. The reason I sped that part up was because I was out of screen most of the time, and I apologize for that. Also, if you hear the heater fan running, it's frigid here in Florida when I'm doing this voiceover. So if you hear the fan, I'm sorry, but I'm freezing, and it's easier to warm up one small area of the house than it is to turn the heat up in the entire house. So I used one palette to do the brown, and then I'm using actually the Raw Beauty Christie for this green, and then I realized that there was like a shimmery green over her lid, so I used a third palette for that shade. So far, the first color was from the ColourPop Aha Honey palette. This is the Raw Beauty Christie palette, and then I end up dipping into the Huda Beauty palette for that shimmery green. But all of this is real-time speed. That is a crown brush that I'm using. I noticed right along my lash line I was having a difficult time getting the color to stick down due to the large nature of the brush. So it was easier just to use my finger to put the pigment on and then go back over it with the brush to blend things out. This is actually a beautiful eye look, even without the extra adornments on it. I loved the way that this looked, and I don't know who created this look. I don't know whose eye that is. I don't know who it belongs to. Out of all of the pictures that Diana tagged me in, only I think one of them had a name on it at all. So if you know who created this eye look, please let me know. I will be more than happy to find them on like Instagram or Pinterest or wherever they did this look and posted it. Because I tried looking for it, typing in like holiday lights or Christmas lights or eye look Christmas lights, things like that. And I was unable to find this exact picture. And so I was like, crap. I did cut away so I could do concealer and the rest of my face back into that ColourPop palette. And I end up using a Lele Posh loose highlighter to do the inner corner. I do get the brush wet and then swirl it in the lid to get the inner corner. You'll see that here in just a minute. But this is a really pretty, like, if you just wanted a nice holiday look that was super simple, you could easily do this look in a matter of minutes and throw on a black wing liner and some mascara and be out the door. You don't have to go to all the trouble to do the extra designs that I did, but I think the eye look itself with just, the green and the brown is really, really pretty, and I am glad that I did this look for the simple fact of how simple it was to do. I'm glad that this was the first one that I started off with because it was easy. The other eye I ended up doing at the same time. I just kind of cut the video to record the other eye and then came back to this one and started recording again. It's also another take on Christmas lights, but it was done differently by a different artist. And I found that I think every one of these eye looks was created by somebody with these really rich dark brown eyes. And I have blue eyes, so I was, I know green makes my eyes pop really well, but I think with the brown eyes, it's just as gorgeous. So it doesn't really matter what color your eyes are. I think this is going to be pretty flattering on just about anybody. And I'm just building up the outer edge there because it looked like she had drawn that out just a little bit, and I'm going in little itty bitty tiny motions. There's that Lele Posh highlighter. If I can find it on her website, I will leave it linked. It was part of a mystery bag that I bought a while back, so I don't know if it's on her website, but she does have other like loose highlighters and pressed highlighters that you can use for a similar effect. It's a very, very icy white highlighter, and she probably used a glitter. Looking at hers in the picture, it's probably a glitter, but I've had problems with glitters in the past. Now this liner and I went round, and I ended up putting it in my to get rid of pile because the tip was dried out. There was moisture in like halfway through to the very end, like where it meets up at the base of the actual plastic applicator, but like the tip of it was dry. So I had to like press down. I even tried drawing on my hand at one point to get this to re-moisturize, and that was not a go. So then I grabbed another liner at one point and tried to go over it, and I cut that entire segment of footage out because that liner also did not work. So here I am using, these are the water activated liners that I have on my website for $5. This is just the white. And yes, I moved and had a blip, and sorry about the blurry. It does straighten out here towards the end once I get most of it drawn on. But I left it in because you can kind of see what I'm doing even if the camera was focusing on Lord knows what. At least I know it wasn't staring at the door this time, which is usually what it likes to do. It likes to stare at the door. I don't know if it gets bored with what I'm doing and it's like, oh, I'm just gonna wander my vision over here and stare at this because I'm really bored. Oh, there, it cleared up. So basically I am just trying to draw around the wing. I probably should have done that first and then drawn the black over it, but I couldn't tell how she had hers done, and you know, I'm older, so my lines are not very straight. My hand was shaking at one point. You basically go cross-eyed trying to do all this tiny stuff, and the little magnifying mirror that I had for like 20 years finally broke on me, and I had to throw it out. So, the one side that looks normal and the other side that's really scary, yeah, the scary side's the one that broke, so I ended up throwing the whole thing away. It was a really cheap mirror. I picked it up at the dollar store for $1. It had butterflies on it. But alas, I don't have a magnifying mirror anywhere anymore, except for the one that like stands up. That's like a 6-inch that you put somewhere and then use that. But it's too heavy for me to continuously hold it, which is why I didn't use it. Now I use the butt of that liner brush and the white eyeliner to do those dots. And now I end up dipping into multiple different palettes. This I'm actually using the palette in my hand that I'm using for the mirror, the Aha Honey palette from ColourPop, to do that yellow. And I should have not done 2 yellows, but because her eye look had like 2 greens, 2 reds, 2 yellows, I was thinking that I would try and copy that, and I ended up changing my mind. I'm like, man, that's kind of boring. You know, Christmas lights come in all kinds of different colors, and I ended up just saying screw it and went my own way with it at one point. And thanks to Shaky Hands, I end up getting that nice little flicker effect that she does in her liner towards the end. And you can see that due to my hooded eyes, my white liner did transfer up. I do fix that here in a minute. This is actually a purple from the Crystal Zodiac palette, and it's actually a shimmer shade, which is why it was not as opaque and I had to build it up a little bit more. I tried using a cream liner to get the white and went to put it on the skin, and it would not work on my skin at all. So I was like, screw it, and went with the liquid liner. Well, not liquid, but it's the cake liner that I made liquid. And not all of these are matte shades. Some of these are shimmer shades, and you can't even really tell that they're shimmer shades putting them over that white liner. Yep, I found that I had a bloop there and I just smeared it. Alright, here's where I fix the actual eye look. And my head, yeah, blurry, and there you go. I try to cut out every time I do that, but that one was such a quick one that I kind of left it in. And I did end up fixing that little bloop on my eyelid. This is a pretty gold shade that I saw in another palette, and it did not want to show up very well. So I ended up having to get the brush re-wet and then go back over that like 3 and 4 and 5 times, and then I press over it and I go back over it and then I press over it and I go back over it because I wanted that gold to show up a little better. And this one I went to put the pigment on, like, hello? What? Hello? Hello? Are you there? Look at it, it's like really patchy looking, and I'm like, what is wrong with this shadow? Because I've used it in regular eye looks and I'd never had it look like that. I'm like, what the? Okay, I finally got it built up enough. Now to clean up any like overages and whatnot, and I know that that white line is a lot thicker than hers, and of course blinking doesn't help because then you get all those little spidery lines, but I promise I do fix it. Now I noticed that she did a little bit of a base for her like light bulb things, so I was like, okay, well I'll add those in, and then of course I go to like fix the lines or make the lines thicker, and I blinked again and ended up getting white liner in one of the colors. Yeah, there I go trying to fix it. You should have just stopped before. You're just gonna make it worse. And here's where I attempt the little flicker piece in the liner. Some of them turned out really good. Some of them turned out not so good. Like that one's a little thick. It's not connected. But I mean, I tried. It was like 10 o'clock at night, 10:30 at night when I was doing this. And I had the music on really loud. But I really like how this one turned out. Dad actually liked this eye look better than the other one that I did, the second holiday look that I filmed. And of course it didn't want to like show up at all in that gold metallic shade. So I was like, whatever. But I do come back in a minute and fix that bloopy mess in the front. I end up just bringing out the black water activated liner to fix that liner. There's the black. That way I had more control over it. I knew the product wouldn't dry out on me, because if it did I could just add a little bit more water, and I was able to get a much sharper line with the liner brush that I was working with than working with a felt tip liner that had the ability to dry out while you're working with it. And here is the entire finished eye look. Let me know what you guys think. I will try and leave these at real time so that you can see exactly how long it takes me. Again, I'm cutting out every time I drop something, every time I get something, every time I look away, every time I look down, in between like picking colors, that kind of thing. And you can kind of see the other eye look here peeking. Ignore that for the moment. That'll be the next video I edit. But yeah, this was a fun eye look. I like how it turned out. And then I included pictures of stills of what it looked like after I was finished, and a full face shot so you could see what it also looked like with the rest of me makeup. And then of course I include the picture at the very end of the idea, or the look I was recreating. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please let me know what you think down below. I'm gonna try and put some sort of like music behind me talking so that you have something else besides me and this awful fan sound to listen to this whole video. So anyways, I will see you guys in another video very soon. Have a fantastic day or night wherever you are, and be safe.